All right. Here we go. In three, two, one. Welcome back to the Alaska Sports Talk Podcast. So glad to have you along wherever you might get your podcast. As usual, Isaiah Vreeman, Brad Lowers, Keaton Homer along with you, joined by a special guest, Cameron Turner. It's not Ashton Pomeran, even though the Zoom
No.
says
No, he's
that.
the
Just
one that
kidding.
had the laptop.
I like it. I like it. We're going to talk UAA hoops, obviously, with Coach Turner. We'll also touch on Anchorage Wolverine hockey, along with maybe a little bit of a high school baseball update as well. But Coach, first things first. Everybody wants to know what weather's better, Arizona or Alaska?
Oh, and some people don't like the heat, and some people love the cold.
Okay,
So
for you,
pick
for
your
you,
poison.
for you.
Well, I missed trees and green grass, so I'll pick Alaska.
Okay, all right,
Yeah,
fantastic. And we're done here. That's
that's
the
it.
podcast.
Done.
Done.
We're out. We're out.
That's the right answer.
Yeah. Well, first of all, congratulations and welcome back after being gone for a little while. Now you're the head coach of the UAA Seawolves. You talked about in your press conference, it was kind of like a dream realized for you. What was it about this job that you really, really wanted to come back to UAA?
Well, it gave me my start in college coaching with Coach Osborne and then Coach Orton at that time. Because I came up as the graduate assistant. And, just to be a college coach was such a dream come true. And so UA gave me that opportunity. And so I just grew to love this place. That's why I stayed as long as I did the first time. And it always was lingered in my heart, that if the job came, I would always want it. And here we are.
Well, I was wondering too. You talked about your connections and how um, Coach Osborne said he kept in touch with you, and I know you kept in touch with him. And then with his daughters going to Eastern Arizona, probably that connection remained maybe a little more than a lot of people thought.
We probably talked almost once a week or more the entire time I was gone because he's like family to me. A lot of people don't know when my oldest daughter, Cora, or so when my youngest daughter, Iris, was born, Liz had gone into labor on Christmas night. And so we didn't have any family. So we call up Rusty and we brought Cora over to their house and they did Christmas night together while Liz and I were at Providence Hospital having our second child. So they were very integrated in his families.
Good story.
Yep.
It is a good story. That's a good thing to have when you don't have
Yeah.
family around. That's awesome that, coach steps up. And kind of along that note, what's maybe the most valuable piece of advice that Rusty has given you? Maybe not even on the basketball floor, but maybe away from the court, could be on the court. What is something he's kind of taught you throughout your coaching career and just life in general?
Well, it's just his actions, and as you could be both, you could be a high level coach and still be a family man. Because I've seen so many guys in this profession, they just think you can't be both. That you got to give and work a bazillion hours all the time, and you can't have a wife and kids. And he showed me that that's a possible thing. And so I just appreciate that he could do both and be a father of five and a coach and be successful. And so, I look up to that you can be both, coach and be a parent and be an active parent. Um, I think that's just super important.
Well, speaking of being an active parent, isn't there softball going on right now? Are you keeping track of that with your girls
Yeah,
playing?
my wife's texting me right now, how the game's going on down in Thatcher, Arizona. And my daughters, they're playing because it's 85, 90 degrees, so they can play softball right now.
Don't rub it in. Don't rub it in. All right. Yeah. No. It's a good thing that basketball's an indoor sport, so you don't got to
Always
worry about the
70
weather.
something degrees,
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Always
Speak.
warm in the gym.
for
Hopefully,
sure.
sometimes the Alaska Airlines Center is one of the coldest arenas, man. I
It
don't know
When
can
they
why.
be.
open the door,
Well,
that one door.
Yeah.
it is true. Uh, Kind of take us into your coaching philosophy here in your strategy. I know you spent time down in Eastern Arizona, JUCO basketball. How much of what you want to do did at the JUCO level is going to be able to translate to Division II NCAA level basketball?
Well, it's about getting the right guys that want to buy into you as a coach. 'Cause all levels are kind of the same in that way. So, um, and you need to find kids that they want to play for something bigger than themselves. Um, and being here in Alaska, just like in Thatcher, Arizona, it weeds out some of the weak-minded kids pretty right off the top. Because Thatcher, very small town in rural Arizona, and Alaska is Alaska. Some people just are too scared to come up here, and that's okay with me because that means I didn't need those kids. I want the right kids that just want to experience Alaska and then be part of our rich tradition we have, and then grow that tradition to the next level. Um, so that's kind of the same. And then recruiting wise, we're all kind of recruiting the same kids. You got to get the best of the best we can find. So, um, I will have kids that I've coached before. Each year they will come with me to Alaska, kind of like Ben McCollum did when he went to Drake and then went on to Iowa. It's kind of the same thing because they're buying into to me as a coach. So we'll have same thing going on here.
Cameron, I'm thinking about when people hire today. It's a lot different when you started like 10 years ago with the portal and NIL. And I'm not sure how that plays into the Division II level, but
A lot, and I'm a unique scenario because I still was part of the generation when you did film exchange through VHS, through the mail and CDs. Like my assistants I've had, they kind of like look like I'm speaking Chinese when they say I have to do that stuff because now everything's through the computer. It's just so much easier. So I remember when you had to recruit kids and you're writing handwritten notes, you could only talk to a kid once a week and you had to log all that information in. And even if you text a kid, you couldn't really do that. Now it's like a free for all. So I've kind of gone through the whole gamut. There's not a lot of coaches kind of my age that have done that. They're a lot older than me or they've never experienced that. I was kind of that middle ground that have gone both ways. So I can do the old school and I can do the new school.
It is kind of interesting how quickly it's changed because I mean, you mentioned text messaging and things like that. I remember Calvin Sampson, when he was at Oklahoma, got in trouble
oh,
for he
sure.
texted too many guys, and now today, like that's not even like I don't even know if the NCAA regulates that in
They
terms of
don't.
text
And there's
messaging.
some kids that they will talk to you through text, but they won't talk to you through the phone because they're
Right.
so uncomfortable talking on the phone now. So it's like totally different.
It's crazy. That's just it's crazy thing now that we live in. Speaking of that, how is the what's it been like since you've gotten the job over the last couple of weeks, that transition? What have you been doing kind of maybe behind the scenes, just kind of getting yourself prepped for the off season and things like that?
Well, just getting used to the new job again. Obviously, like we all go through with jobs, you got to do all the proper paperwork for any job. So a lot of that. And then recruiting new players because, several guys graduated from UA's team. So I got to kind of reload. And that's where my expertise comes in, being a junior college coach, having 6 or 7 seniors, that ain't no thing to me, at Eastern Arizona. That was the normal everyday year for me to recruit 6, 7, 8, 9 guys. So like last year, I replaced 9 guys. So I'm just kind of used to recruiting large classes. I don't know anything else. So this is normal for me to reload. And I know a lot of people say we're all 1 year at a time, but that's just the nature of the beast now. Is you just focus and be present that 1 year at a time. It's rare to have now kids that would stay 4 years. That's the rarity now. So I'm just used to reloading constantly.
Cameron, I have a question about the portal, and I'm thinking about again you 10 years ago, and to recruit someone else's players that would be unheard of. But I'm also curious in the portal. As soon as somebody declares for the portal, are you allowed to be engaged in conversation, or how does that rule
Yeah,
work?
once they make that list, the transfer portal list, then it's a free agency essentially. Once you know that they declared they're in the portal and then you see it on the NCAA site, then you can legally talk to them that it wasn't this mystery. Uh, just even my first last couple years, that's when transferring started to be popular. You just could only find it really on social media. Now it's just like, a designated website through the NCAA. So once that happens, you can just call them and talk to them. It's truly like professional sports. It's free agency. And then those kids hear whatever school out. So, and then that's another thing with kids make money now. So it's just coming more and more professional sports. Um, hasn't really hit as much Division II, but it's there.
Yeah.
There's definitely schools around the country that are paying players. So it's there. I dealt with it at junior college. There was some junior college teams paying players. So this isn't new that I've dealt with it before.
I was just going to ask how much of that was prevalent in the junior college ranks. I never even thought of it. I mean, a lot of it we all hear from the NCAA ranks in terms of NIL and all that type of stuff. And it sounds like there's a little bit of that down where you were coaching the last few years.
Yeah, because we were a Division I junior college. So there's maybe 10 schools across the country that were paying for
Mm.
players. Was it $100,000 or like you hear at the Division I? No, but it's still a good chunk of change they were paying, 10 to 20,000. Some schools
Yeah.
could pay, so that's still good money.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Anytime you can get that much money as a college athlete, come on.
For sure. It's life changing for a lot of kids.
Yeah.
And that's then when I was at junior college too, my players that moved on, I helped manage those contracts for them when they were going on to the 4-year level. So I tried to be very active in that so I could help them manage their lives because a lot of things people don't talk about is those kids make money, but they also have to pay taxes. And kids don't think about that.
Yeah.
What are you going to do with the money? Are you going to invest it? I just try to be a good mentor to them of like, so they get the money. How is that money going to grow for them for their life, not just blow it on something random? So use the money for their life.
Hey, Cameron, I just reminded of the relationship with players as you just talked about. And a lot of coaches, some coaches have walked away from the game because of how the game has changed, or a lot of fans think, college basketball isn't what it used to be. And actually, it isn't. But you seem to have embraced the changes and kind of, roll with the punches as far as that goes, including just really, best case scenario and how to deal with it.
How I look at it, if you're open, honest, and transparent with your players, you can still coach them just the same. They know that you care about them as humans. Man, you can coach them just as hard as you could in the past. They'll buy into that. And run through a wall just like they did before. But they got to know that you got their back. And how I do it is just through being totally transparent with them. Like a parent, in some ways, they might not like what you have to say, but at least you're being honest with them. And so they respect that.
Well, a big part of UAA's success over the last couple of years, it's been in-state talent, with Hassan Harrington obviously been a huge piece of the success over the last few years. Bishop Tosi, Jaron Miller coming back, all Anchorage area products. How are you going to keep the in-state guys around the program? Is that a focus? And obviously, you got to balance that with potential transfers.
Yeah, we're going to have elite camp here on campus on May 28th. So obviously that'll be good for me to get to know some of those 2027 kids and 28s and 29s to see them firsthand up close and we get to work with them so that I can see what those kids are about because I know that there's talent here. Big state, just there's always a lot of good athletes here. That's why I still recruited it when I was at Eastern Arizona when I was the women's side and the men's side and just to get to know who they are. So I've been, identifying who those kids are to try to get them to come to elite camp. So I've been actively talking to the high school coaches here around the state to get to know them better because they have a better pulse than I do at this point of who's who
Yeah.
of high school basketball. Because I want them to stay at home. I think that's special when they get to stay here and play in front of their friends and family. It's unique. And then I get it. Some kids maybe want to leave because they think the pasture may be greener somewhere else. I get it. I was 18 years old too. So but maybe try to get him come back as a transfer. So trying to get that right now too. Try to get kids to come home that had maybe gone at other universities.
Cameron, a couple quick Rusty questions. These don't have to be the last questions, but it's kind of an unusual deal where the previous head coach is kind of staying on in a position like he's in. And I know he's got a lot to do. I know they're looking for that AD, but what's it going to be like just being able to pick his brain? I know that you've already mentioned what a big effect he's had on you.
I'm actually feel very thankful that he is because he's like a mentor, master coach that I can ask him questions, how to deal with certain situations, or just seeing how to manage the school because he was here for so long. So I would have done that anyways if he had left. So, or if I was even at another school, I would ask him those questions. So it's great that he's like still here. And he's just gonna let me do my thing, so I'm thankful for that. But I love that he's still here, so I can ask him questions just point blank. He's on the next floor above me now, so I had to walk to his office.
Take the elevator. I mean,
Yeah,
if you really
True,
want, you could
but
be
I got to
like,
get those steps in, right?
that's fine. Yeah.
Steps.
you got to know the code. I know that. And Cameron, the other question was, are those your own pictures behind you? Have you had time to put in your own pictures?
No, those are what was left here. So, so I actually brought two suitcases up full of like stuff for the office. So, because I've been going back and forth right now, so I trickling in things.
I was going to ask you, like, what's that transition been like in terms of moving? I mean, just like that whole process logistically.
Moving target for me right now, Liz, because we moved up here originally from Oregon, sold everything, and then we moved out, sold everything. This time, Liz says we're not selling everything. We're just gonna figure it out, like, get it shipped, or I'm driving it up. So that's somewhat of a
Hey,
target.
yeah, that's always the fun piece, man. Now trying to figure out what you want to keep and not keep, but it sounds like you're going to keep a majority of it. So,
She's
all
like,
right,
we're keeping it.
good
We'll
luck.
fit it in
Good
that
luck to you.
U-Haul and make a
Yeah.
go of it.
Have fun with that.
Sorry, my wife is giving me updates on the Stars game. So if I
What's
look
the
up every once,
score?
it's 3-2 Dallas at the moment. So we're
Okay.
we're okay, but we're just gotta
The real
pump the
question, were
brakes.
you a Stars fan when they were in Minnesota?
So I was very young when they moved in '93. So, kind of. I mean, I've been a star. I grew up in Oklahoma. So,
That
like
makes
when they
sense
made
then.
the move, so that
Big
was the
hockey guy.
closest. Yeah. Yeah. Huge hockey guy when I was in Oklahoma. Yeah. Football didn't exist. Yeah.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Um, what was I going to ask? I got distracted by the hockey game now. I forgot about that. AAU ball. I know that you were obviously huge in AAU. Do you still have those connections in terms of, coaches and players and things like that? Or if that kind of
Yeah,
dwindled a little bit?
I'll watch some of it for sure. Particularly, I always went and watched all the Alaska teams when I was up here, and I'll try to do some of that. I know my assistant will probably have to do some of this year because reality, I'll have to move my family this summer, so some of I might miss. So Ashton, he'll have to do some of that for me. But yeah, I go watch all that stuff, and then there's a big high school tournament. I know Diamond went to it called Section 7. That's usually in June for all the high school event. That's a phenomenal tournament because it's kind of like all the best high school teams on the West Coast all get together and they play against each other. So I thought that was one of the best tournaments you could go and evaluate just on the entire West Coast. So if any high school coaches have an opportunity, you definitely should go to Section 7 if you can get into it.
Where do they play those games, Cameron?
They play them in Phoenix. In the last couple of years, they play in the State Farm Arena, so where the Cardinals play. So it's a really cool scenario playing, in that such a large stadium.
That's crazy. Like that's
Wow.
like where the NCAA tournament takes place. I mean,
Yeah,
sometimes.
they
I mean,
put
so,
down, I want to say 12 courts.
wow. Okay. Yeah, that's
So
pretty
they've done
sweet.
there, and then I know they're supposed to move it to this other complex. It's one of the largest athletic um, complexes in North America called Arizona Grounds, and it has 12 courts in that facility as well, and it's crazy big.
See, we could be doing something like that here, in Alaska. Like we could dome it, and we could have a big facility, and get some basketball talent coming up and whatnot. I think it could work.
That
I
would
don't
be
know.
unique.
It would be. See, I'm telling you, ideas, ideas. We just need
Yeah.
money.
It'll
And
probably take,
Johnny Manziel.
yeah, it's probably take maybe the BYU player, Cameron, he could sponsor it by himself.
for sure. AJ, yeah. Let's call him up.
A couple more questions before we let you go. Did you coach Kevin Love in high school? Is that
I did. How I got my start was in Arizona. I thought I was gonna be a police officer, so I was going through like the trainings down there, and I started coaching JV basketball. That's where I got started at Bourgade Catholic High School. And then my high school coach, Mark Schaff, said, "Hey, why don't you come home? I got a pretty special player, and I need an assistant." So it just kind of worked out. Went home. My wife went to dental assisting school at that time, and so we went to Oregon. And that special player was Kevin Love. So I knew who Kevin
Wow.
was. He's a little guy because he played baseball and stuff. He was like the kid that's just bigger than everybody else. So he's good in everything. But it was Kevin, and he was pretty special to work with him. So I was on staff with my high school coach, but we also had another good player that I got to coach with. That was Chris Dudley. And so that's how I learned kind of post development with Chris Dudley, and then obviously how that translated to the floor with Kevin Love. So he was a
Dudley,
special kid because he was so focused as a high school player on his task at hand and goal
Wow.
oriented. So it was great to see that. He never lost sight of what his ultimate goals were going to be.
now Dudley, who you mentioned, he was a phenomenal rebounder. Am I right?
Oh yeah, tough
And
guy.
he's running for office.
Yeah, governor right now, I think again, second time doing that.
And Kevin Love was phenomenal at UCLA. But my favorite thing was he's a relation to one of my favorite bands of all time. Is that right?
Which one?
The Beach Boys.
Yeah, his
So
uncle.
his dad was Mike Love, the lead singer. Don't play me in trivia, Cameron.
Oh,
You
wow.
know it all.
Deadly.
Wow.
Coming out with left field stuff today,
Yeah.
Brad. I like it. All
Wow.
right.
Beach
So,
Boys. What was the over under on that on the podcast today?
I didn't have it
Wow.
on the bingo card. Yeah,
Wow.
that can't cross that one off. So, yeah.
Well, I think his dad was a pretty good player, Stan Love, because he
Yeah.
Yeah.
did his unit for Oregon and then a stint with the Lakers, if I remember right. So
It's crazy. Is
Might
there
have been the
anything-
Bulls. I'll look that up though.
The Bulls? I don't remember that. It could have been. I don't know.
Stan Love. Well,
Okay. We'll
I'm just
look it up.
saying.
We'll get stats and research
Stats and research.
I don't
Stats and
really know
research.
it all.
I was going to say, kind of building on that Kevin Love thing. Is there any like quality? Do you have like a mold? Like, is there a Kevin Love like type of mold? I know I want that guy because he has that type of Kevin Love traits or something along that line.
yeah, I've had a long line of big guys. So obviously Kevin was it, and then I fell into coaching Taylor Rhodey here.
Yeah.
That was such a phenomenal big guy, excellent footwork and hands. He's actually a coach now in Arizona. He's a high school coach, and then he has his own club program. He did once he left here at UAA, he did a great job. Went over and played overseas, and he was smart. He saved his money and invested it, bought properties, and he did it the right way. And he owns like a basketball facility in Phoenix.
Wow.
It's like a pyramid building. It's kind of unique. So he trains kids called Peak Basketball. He has tons of teams down there in Phoenix, but I helped, with him. And then when I coached the women's side, I had a girl played at Kansas, big girl. Another crazy story. I found her, but went to Eastern Arizona, then went on to the University of Kansas and played. And then on the men's side, I have a young man. He's in the portal right now named Anton Bonk. He's 7'2", 260. He could catch. He could run. We taught him the game of basketball. He didn't know anything about basketball other than he just wanted to play. He was from a small country called Vanuatu, tiny island in the middle of the South Pacific. Came to Eastern. We taught him the game, and they transferred to Providence, then Charlotte because now it's the portal area. And he just declared for the NBA draft. If he doesn't, he's going to Kansas or Michigan State if he goes to college route. Um,
Wow.
and then every year I was at Eastern, I had a big guy go Division 1. My last one is Ryan Hunt. He's Australian, and he's going to TCU. So I've just because of Kevin, I kind of know the track record of how to develop those big guys and get something out of them that a lot of coaches maybe don't see because they are not usually finished products when you get them. You have to spend time and develop them. So they just are slower at the process. But when they click, it clicks. Um, so for any big guys out there, just work with them, take time, learn to catch is a big thing. Catch with two hands. So I use Alaska terms. I always say moose ears. Like this. So catch here. And then another thing is you run the center of the floor. I say run the river. It's one of my favorites. Just run rim to rim. So I always try to equate things to Alaska. So I took that. That was my homage to Alaska when I went to Eastern. So all my terms on the floor are all like nature related from my time here in Alaska. So it's ironic now I'm back. So,
That's pretty cool.
That's great.
It is.
so you'll hear me and I'll
right.
yell at my big guys, run the river. That's like a big saying. My kids say that because I say it so much.
Craziest recruiting story, since we're kind of in that ballpark. What is something that it can be at any point in time in your collegiate coaching career? What is one of the wildest recruiting stories you got?
Well, the Anton story is pretty crazy because he just kind of showed up. I had heard of him from one of my current players. He was home for Christmas break in Davis, California, and he's 6'9". That kid named Theo Sang. He just graduated from Troy University. He's his coach. This kid's huge. He makes me small. And I said, get him on the phone. So I talked to him and convinced Anton to come on a visit, and he really never left. He didn't have shoes. We had to get him basketball shoes. He just had like Crocs, because he was like had size 18 feet. So we somehow figured it out. We got him these broken shoes, and then we just shot him the game. So that was a unique one. And then on the women's side, I had to go to Cincinnati, Ohio to recruit a girl. I didn't know she didn't tell her mom that I was coming. So my assistant and I and my wife, we all went out there. It's raining. It's Ohio. I'd never been to Cincinnati. And then go to this girl's house. Her mom was very gracious. She was there, but these dogs and they're running around us, barking. And we're like, what scenario? Where are we at? But luckily the girl did sign with us. And then, so it all was all worthwhile, but had to have my Cincinnati Skyline chili when we were there.
There you go. Yeah.
She took us to that. And, so it's just a crazy scenario because she didn't tell her mom, that's one thing. Now I always check. Hey, did you talk to your parents?
Do they know we're coming? Yeah. Like, who's the stranger on our front porch? Yeah.
Yeah. I felt super embarrassed, but I don't know. It worked out.
Cincinnati's not the craziest place you've been recruiting, I hope.
No, I've been to
okay.
Maui. Yeah,
Okay.
I got to go recruit in Maui. Had a girl, one of my favorite players all time. Her name is Susie Nomoa. Actually, how I heard of her was through Ryan McCarthy. And she was just one of my best leaders I've ever had. And she's like family to me. She actually lives in Oregon now. But she was such a great leader. But she was from Lahaina Luna High School, and they were really good in women's basketball at that time. And she was just such a great leader. And she'll be a coach someday, So, but
cool.
That was a unique place. You don't get to go to Maui often to recruit.
No, you don't.
I'm willing to go if you need help. Just
yeah.
I
Just
think
let me
we
know,
all
I was
would.
pretty fortunate that the school allowed me to go. So, but
Yeah.
the girl helped me. We won a lot of games, and she was our leader when we went to the Sweet 16 in junior college. So it was fun.
Yeah, if you go on a recruiting trip to Maui, you better come back with a good player.
Yeah, if you go that far,
exactly.
it better be a player.
Yeah,
Then-
better be a player.
The other thing that comes to mind, you mentioned earlier that your original goal was to be a cop, which
Yep.
I think you kind of look like a cop. I think if you showed up on a doorstep in Cincinnati, the mom might be a little worried because I don't know, you look like a guy off Dateline.
Probably.
Interesting.
So Yeah, we were, I didn't know where we were at all in Cincinnati, so it was just pouring rain. So we were worried about there, like strange neighborhood. Nobody knows who we are. I'm like, what are we doing here?
It could be a little sketchy. A little sketchy. One last thing before we let you go. What's the next, maybe, I don't know, 90 to 100 days look like for you? What's the game plan? And then also realistic expectations for yourself in year number one as the head coach.
Well, go get players right now because it's hot and heavy. Obviously, transfer portal, definitely recruiting out of that, but I'm not just stuck on that. I'll go get junior college kids. And also, I've had a long line of recruiting international kids, so definitely keeping those lines open. Um, I recruit Australia really hard, and that actually came here from UAA from back in the day, from Kevin White, Steve White, Liam
Mm-hmm.
Gipkiss. I recruited them, and so now a lot of them, they're coaches now, so I've kept those lines open, so they've helped me get other players, so I'll recruit down there. So got to get players and expectations. I'm not coming here to lose. I'm coming here to win, and keep that tradition going, and then elevate to the next level. That's just my expectations of myself. And you can do that, because we're all 1 year at a time. Like in the GNAC, it's not like teams are returning a team of 8 players, 9 players. We're all reloading, so we're all kind of in the same boat. So it's going to be who can recruit the most talent, and then who can get that talent to buy into to each other, and then who can coach them up to whatever your goals were as a coach. So we're all kind of on the same page. There's not many returners.
Well, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be an interesting off season to watch and see you build the team and things like that. And then before you know it, end of October is gonna be here, and we're gonna be hitting the regular season for hoops, and it's gonna be exciting and fun to watch. Looking forward to it, Coach.
I'm excited too.
I think
Cameron
with the
Turner,
interview too, this was just part one. So
part one.
Hey, I'll come on anytime you guys want.
Deal.
Okay.
Deal. You're in.
Done.
Friend of the pod.
Yep.
Friend of the
down.
podcast. There we go.
Cameron, feel free to stick around if you want. If you got other things to take care of, you can sign it off. But we're going to talk some hockey and then also some high school baseball. The Anchorage Wolverines, obviously, were on the road to start the playoffs. Started off great, Isaiah.
It
Got
did.
off on a good foot.
Started off really well. 3-2 win. That was good. And then kind of a nosedive the last 2 games. That Wolverines did not look sharp. And if you don't look sharp against Minnesota, they'll get you, and that's what happened. Yeah, so it's the great news is even though we got 1 game with Minnesota down there, it's 2 games to 1. Minnesota's ahead, best of 5. That means game 4 Friday night at the Sullivan, and then if the Wolverines win that, game 5 on Saturday night. So big game coming up on Friday night, 7:30 at the Sullivan. I would, if you're entertaining the idea of going, I would get your tickets now because we already had, as of, I think it was of 2:00 today, we had 1,400 tickets already sold, just the single game tickets. So that's beyond season ticket holders and all that. So my guess is we'll sell out by the end of the week for sure.
Well, one thing, Isaiah, you portray that you may be a little disappointed in losing a couple games down there, but on the other hand, it could be the perfect scenario to come back with a 4-5 win. And I know, one of your goals in going down there was to at least get 1 game back. So, at least that's going to happen.
It was disappointing how we played on Friday or on Saturday and Sunday night. That being said, to take game 1, so you at least have 1 game coming back home and guaranteeing at least 1 home game in front of the home fans is big. So that'll be huge. And I expect the energy to be off the charts at the Sullivan on Friday night for sure.
Yeah, Luke Beidel in that first game, he had I think a hat
trick.
He had all 3 goals for the Wolverines in that 3-2 victory in game number 1.
And a couple of them were unassisted. So what ended up happening is then on Saturday, I mean, Minnesota just was running guys at Luke all night long. I mean, if you let's just say this, if you watch the video and you watch Luke after the puck is blown dead, how many Minnesota players are around him just kind of tapping him with their stick on the back of the leg, right in
We're
the
here, buddy.
right,
We're right
right
here.
in the back of his jersey, all that stuff. I mean, they were kind of harassing him all night because without him on game one, they would have been able to take that one. So it was disappointing to finish 1 and 2 down there. But on the flip side, the fact we were able to get one, now we have a home game and possible clinching game on Saturday night at the Sullivan. Nice home ice advantage.
Yeah, the Wolverines just have to find a way to generate some offense. Game 2
Yep.
shut out, and then game 3 shut out. It's been 131 minutes of game time without scoring a goal for the Wolverines.
Yeah.
So it's been rough. And game 2, they only had 23 shots on goal. Game 3, I think they had 26. So just finding some offense outside of Luke Beidel right now, that's got to be the key for Coach Akins at the moment when they come back to the Sullivan Arena, because right now the Wilderness a game away from claiming the series. I'll give a shout out to the Wilderness just because he could be of relation. Zach Homer, he had a couple of goals. So I don't know if he's relation. It could be a distant cousin. I don't know.
Yeah,
so
that's right. No, got to hand it to Minnesota. They ended up winning those games. Again, Saturday was not a great game. Sunday there were some more scoring opportunities. There were some better chances on the Wolverine side of things, but you've got to be able to back check every time that they were really physical and finishing checks and back checking. Positive things happen with the puck. So I would expect a lot of building on that for game 4. And after the games down there's no love lost between these two teams. I would expect a pretty crazy night on Friday night.
Well, Keaton, I would say a lot of my hockey knowledge comes from Isaiah and from you. But
that's dangerous.
In terms,
between the two of us.
Sorry.
The one thing I do understand, and Isaiah goes along with me on this, is when you're a Seattle Mariner fan, you're very familiar with lack of offense.
Yeah. That's why I got my Seattle Seahawks hat on, because they know offense and defense.
Yeah.
What were they again? Forgot, Keaton. How did the season end? I'm drawing a blank.
Yeah,
something about a championship.
Talk to me when you get 3 more, guy. Talk to me when you get 3 more.
When will you guys make a conference championship again?
It's this year.
I can't remember.
Who's Seattle's running back?
Yeah.
Who's Seattle's running back, Isaiah?
It's going to be the running back from Notre Dame, the backup.
Okay.
They're getting him with the 32nd pick on the draft.
What happened to the starter? What happened to the starter?
Oh, you mean the starter that nobody knew about until the playoffs? That starter? I love how everyone. No, I'm not going to get into it. Just makes me mad. Just makes me mad. I'm not going to get into it. You all know.
Yeah. Anyway,
everybody knows.
Most important, I don't know how we got from the Wolverines to the NFL to Major League Baseball, but yeah. Anyway, bottom line is the Anchorage Wolverines have a game April 24th. Get your tickets now. Be sure you get them soon because, like Isaiah said, it's going to be a rocking arena, and you don't want to miss out. Don't want to miss out. It's going to be a crazy atmosphere. They're going to need your support there in game number 4 of the opening series. On that note, make mention of it, Fairbanks Ice Dogs also playing in the first round of the playoffs as well. In a similar boat as the Wolverines, they're down 2-1 in their series as well, but they are going on the road, I believe, down to Wisconsin to take on the Wendigo down in Wisconsin.
Wendigo.
So, yes, our favorite team nickname there, the Wendigo.
Yeah. No, Fairbanks had a scoring drought too. It's just their defense played a little bit better, and didn't let Wendigo kind of run away with any of the games, but they came back in the third game on Sunday, and able to score a few.
Good news, guys. Stars win. All right. We're back.
All right. Stars
win.
We're
back. Stars win. We're in.
Hey, Keaton.
Series at 1. Yeah.
Apparently, I'm a wealth of hockey knowledge.
Okay.
Right.
Jeremy Swayman.
Yes.
Who's been an outstanding goalie for the Bruins. Had a 2-0 lead last night. They ended up losing, but, he's got such a huge following up here. We'll keep an eye on the Bruins, who Bobby Orr and Esposito's used to play for. But that's my wealth of knowledge, but it's more pre-'80s, but keep an eye on Swayman. Wish him some luck.
Yeah, certainly do. Wish him the best in the series against the Buffalo Sabres. It was a tough loss in game one yesterday for him. So we'll see how they bounce back on Tuesday night against the Sabres, who are having one of their best seasons in probably 15 years.
Yep.
So, but the last time I think they played for a Stanley Cup was 1999 against the Dallas Stars, and yeah, Stars won in overtime, 3 overtimes actually. So, but don't need to
Good
bring that up.
research.
Yeah, it is. It's all on the memory banks there. It may not look like it is spring outside here in Alaska, still snow on the ground, but we're fortunate to have baseball kind of getting started. And a player that everybody has their eye on, we've talked about him a couple of times, Rylan Nikolai, terrific player with the Service Cougars, has done something that no player has done since 2019, and that's hit 2 home runs in a game, as he had a couple of home runs and a win against West at Bartlett in a 7-3 win last weekend. So Rylan Nikolai picking up where he left off. He's got to be the preseason favorite for Player of the Year in the Cook Inlet Conference in state of Alaska for baseball, I would assume.
Yeah, he won the Gatorade last year, and usually at Bartlett this time of year, it's not like Colorado. I mean, the ball's not necessarily carrying, and maybe umpiring there 3 or 4 years. I don't know if I've seen 2 home runs, in that long a time umpiring. So it's an impressive feat, and he's gonna be one to keep an eye on. I guess going down to ASU to play with his brother, but I think that's a story that's we're going to continue to follow for many years to come.
Yeah, the Nikolai brothers, they're something special. They're probably the two of the better baseball players that the state of Alaska has produced over the last, I don't know, 5-10 years easily. Just watching what they've done in high school, and then also what Cohen Nikolai is doing at the collegiate level. Didn't get a chance when he was at the University of Oregon per se. I mean, he got a little bit of time, but then making the most of it now that he's down at Arizona State after he transferred. And it seems like Ryland's going to follow him down there after his senior season wraps up. So,
Hey, I got a question here.
yeah.
Cameron,
I'm
you
new to the
stayed.
scene. I'm still here. I'm listening. I'm new to the scene. So, how do you develop being a great baseball player here in Alaska? My mind's working now.
That's a great question.
Well,
question.
I can tell you one of the answers. So, Cameron, when you flew in, one of the things the pilot did was look at that big white building. So it's called the Dome, and they have tracks and baseball places. So if you go over there at 5 or 6 in the morning, in the winter, that place is jam packed. People doing everything, and baseball is a big part of that. The turf is going, so that is made such a difference, and it was kind of hanging in the balance, but certainly a facility that comes in handy in a state like Alaska.
It certainly does. There's also
pretty unique.
Yeah, there's been a rise, it seems like, and you guys can tell me if I'm wrong here, but it seems like in the number of what do you call it? Competitive baseball teams, like travel teams here in the state of Alaska. There's been a lot more of those types of teams coming along, and a lot more exposure to lower 48 teams and traveling out of state. And I think that's helped raise a lot of the kids' game a little bit over the last few years. So, but the number of opportunities you get to play, whether hitting in the cage or just fielding, you're at the Dome or you're at some other little small facility inside during the winter and, hitting BP and things like that. But it is crazy to see that, Alaska's been able to produce some spectacular baseball over the last few years. I mean, Cohen, he was drafted, I think, in the, 15th round? Is that right? I can't remember. I'm trying to remember if he was drafted. Give me a second. Give me one moment. Yeah, 15th round by the Miami Marlins back in 2024. So, I mean, before he went to the University of Oregon and now at Arizona State. So,
I think one of the things with the baseball, you mentioned the summer trips or whatever. Can you imagine being a baseball kid in September and you're offered the opportunity to go to Arizona in October? You're practicing, you want to be on that team.
Yeah.
And you want to go to those showcases. And one of the things they do in baseball is they play a guaranteed number of innings, and everybody gets to play the same. And it's not so much a tournament as it really is a showcase where everybody, you're not going to be the 12th guy going down there. They just do it a lot of nice ways.
Just
I think,
curious, making my mind work here.
yeah, no, it's a great question. I mean, just to think about, because you're right. I mean, Arizona, Texas, every state in the South already has baseball going by February. I mean, you look at college baseball, Division One, they're starting first week or second week of February with their regular season. I mean, yeah, I mean, just the elements here. But the Southeast, I mean, that's why
Yeah.
Southeast baseball has been so good for so long,
Yep.
is because they're able to get out earlier than, Fairbanks and Anchorage, because the snow melts down in Juneau and Sitka and things like that. So,
Yeah. Sitka
but
has like a beautiful hitting facility
yeah,
right there. And then I don't know. We talk about Steve Nerlin, Donnie Winchester. Um, when they take a focus on a particular thing, field turf, track, junior high baseball. Well, a few years back they put their focus on American Legion baseball. Um, and it's a out of sport, out of school.
out
Trying to think
of yeah, I know
trying
what
to
you're
think of
talking
that.
about.
I Let's try to think of that term, but Cameron, I
Outsourced.
Yep.
outsourced. But
Outsourced.
Cameron, this happened to me a few years ago, and we were scheduling a Saturday practice, and my captain, one of my best players, goes, Coach, I got to go to this showcase tryout from 10 to 12. And I never, ever experienced a kid saying that they really had to go or would like to go to a baseball thing. But I did, in fact, schedule practice from 1 to 3. So I don't know if you've seen that before, but maybe in Arizona you have.
Yeah, well, it's just all over the place down there with baseball and softball, even the little towns. It's just different. So that was something I had to get used to moving to Arizona. They just play all the time.
Must be nice. Like, yeah, just all the time. Yep. Get outside all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, but then when it comes to July and it's 100
Oof.
at
Fair
nine
point.
o'clock at night, that's way hard.
Yeah. Yeah, I
That's
agree.
just no good.
We'll practice in the morning hours from 8 to 10, and then we'll come back at 7 to 9. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, I remember Little League in San Bernardino. There's the Arizona team from Chandler. They were coming to be in the regional, and it was their fourth trip to California. In the year. So, the Alaska team, all excited coming down for the first time, but Arizona, that's just what they do, you know, all the time, and I guess that's why they have a couple guys in the pros right now. Like you say, the opportunity to play year round, it's even better than the dome.
Sure is. Anything else we want to touch on before we sign this one off?
Well, Isaiah can tell some more about this, but April 26th, there's going to be the High School Hall of Fame presentation starting at 2 o'clock. It's at what I like to call Matt Malelli Gym. It's the Special Olympics gym, not too far from Merrill Field. And it's going to be, there's a lot of people being recognized. I think of Dick Shearhorn, who was a big part of Alaska basketball, was a referee, was an announcer, was a coach from Cordova and really all over the place. I think he was a pilot, wrote a book. So that's just the type of people you'll see inducted. So that's going to be a great event. And Isaiah's been able to, with myself being able to be involved, I guess, interview a lot of those folks and play that later. And so looking forward to that event. It's always a highlight.
No, it is always fun. Always fun to have all that talent in one room and have some good stories. That's for sure.
Yep, it'll be streamed live on the NFHS network, and I know we'll have some interviews. Brad will have some interviews with some people there as well that
I
we'll
like it.
release next week.
I like it. All right. Anything else for the good of the order? Going once. Twice. So, all right, we're done. I like it. Uh, Cameron Turner, head coach of the UAA Seawolf men's basketball team. Thanks for joining us again. For Isaiah Vreeman, Brad Lowers, myself. We'll catch you out there somewhere around the sports fields, hopefully, when the snow melts. Until then, peace.